Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So my health issues unfortunately are still plaguing me, so you will have to bear with no webcam in this video, but we're going to be taking a look at wars number 8 and 9. And the war number 8 is against Legion. So let's get into it without any further delay. I'm gonna be using my rank 5 sexy belly, also known as King of the Pins. And then we have the rank 4 CGR and the rank 3 Hood as well. I'm actually gonna get to do a fight with Hood in this, which I will kind of screw up a bit, but first things first, I'm on path 9 for both sections there, and the first fight here is up against Korg, and Korg against CGR. I am going to be using Power Start 1 boost because the plan with CGR always in these fights is extremely fast nuke, and in order to be able to do that, you need to reliably be able to parry and heavy the Korg in order to get the aptitude, in order to be able to finish the cycle, basically. But in this case, obviously, Korg is not necessarily, well, that parry isn't going to stick. So here, in order to replace that heavy attack and the third judgment, I'm just going to be starting with the power boost 1. And now the new game plan, and this is technically the safest way how to do a CGR nuke fight, is just finish a combo with light, finish a combo with medium, and go for broke and drop that level 2 without even finishing your cycle. And then I accidentally activated the wrong boost, so I wasted 10,000 loyalty, which I was well upset with myself, but, you know, it happens. Right, so here, again, as I said, finish combo with light, finish combo with medium, and just go for it. I started with the bar of power already, so I will not have to stress about, you know, getting enough power. And now, obviously, cosmic power back boosts are going to do what they do. Didn't get a single poison on me, and obviously CGR is incinerate immune, and now we're just gonna finish it off with level 3, and that Korg is dead. About as dead as you can get there. And now next fight here is going to be MCOC, and here we will have a chance to use our Kingpin. So obviously I still need to deal with the auto block, and I still need to deal with the hazard shift, but something tells me that this fight isn't gonna be too troublesome. Now, because I still have the Power Start 1 boost active, MCOC starts with Indestructible buff. He will go indestructible whenever I will cross a bar of power, but that's not a big deal. There I'm just kind of clapping in him at his block. It doesn't matter with Kingpin. We're just going to be hitting him and through block normally as much as we want, as much as we can. And obviously, the cool thing with Kingpin's special attacks is if you do have your overpower buff active, they are unblockable, and that auto block doesn't matter. And that's one very, very, very dead MCOC without much trouble. And Kingpin's awesome. Okay, so that was it for the section 1. No, wait, I'm also doing this bishop. And since I do have the power start 1 boost, again, super easy rotation here. Finish a combo with light. Finish combo with medium. I do not have the full 5 judgments in order to finish the cycle out yet, but it doesn't matter because I'm basically at 3 bars of power. So there, I did throw that heavy attack. I didn't have to really. I could have just thrown a special attack, but, you know, whatever. And that's just CGR nuke still. And that's 1 dead bishop. And then moving on to the next day, I do need to deal with this Dr. Doom. And this Dr. Doom is actually a bit scary. Because obviously with Kingpin and Hazard Shift, it's always happy days and good times. But if I start getting too many overpower buffs and he activates his auras, and even if he doesn't activate his auras, Mystic Dispersion is going to be a thing. And yeah, this fight's much, much scarier. So here I will actually intentionally activate Invulnerability Boost. But the plan here is actually going to be to spam my level 1s. Once I get like a bar and a half of power, because then I will also reduce the amount hazard shift triggers, and with that I shouldn't be having too many overpower buffs on me at any given time. Now there I was a bit loopy and slow trying to escape that slap, which I got slapped in the face, but we have invulnerability boost just for that. It again gets smacked a bit, but again, invulnerability boost coming in full clutch there, no problem. But at the same time, we do have the overpower buff active. We have the degen there. I'm just baiting out heavy attacks from Dr. Doom. Now I need to go and dex that level 2, this time hopefully properly. There we go. And again, we're just gonna drop that degen. That degen does reduce the ability accuracy of the hazard shift node, therefore not too many debuffs are getting placed on me, and there isn't too many things feeding that Mystic Dispersion. Actually very safe and solid fight that lasted 51 seconds. Not bad at all. Well, happy with this one. And here I will kind of screw up, because for Alliance Wars I often have to change my masteries, just like I did, for instance, for the CGR fights, and then I had to change them again for KINGPIN fights. And one thing that I forgot to do for this Cersei fight was to activate Mystic Dispersion. Now it's still perfectly doable, and this lane and this fight is doable with Hood because he is the defensive tactic defender, so I can go briefly completely debuff immune. So at this point I actually could have started already attacking, but I just kind of chose to activate that debuff immunity first and then try and build up to my level 2. I probably should have been more aggressive, but it's fine. Not a big deal. I just basically need to get to my level 2 and the fight is going to be fine. Now I activate that level 2 Fate Seal, and I will actually drop it because I'm a bit too slow there. Still though, we do have 12 bullets loaded up on Cersei, which detonating drops her down to like 20%. And at this point here, mandatory special attack hits. There is something about me fighting Cersei that always ends up with me getting hit, but it's okay. And then again, I'm just amping up the charges. Unfortunately, here she did drop her heavy attack and I'll have to wait out a bit. And at this point, I realized, well, perhaps slightly before, that I don't have Mystic Dispersion. I was like, shucks, whatever. Should be fine. So now we just need to finish out this fight quickly. I get to my level 2 again, drop that, and sweet, that's one dead Cersei. No problem. So yeah, you can use a defensive tactic to deal with hazard shift lanes for sure in this meta. And then I do have one more fight, which is going to be Terax. Now this is even more interesting fight because here Terax is a defender with the global. That means that unsteady ground is going to be making me glance pretty much at all times. But we're just going to bring in KINGPIN and tear through that anyways. The only time I will not be glancing is if I will, have exact overpower buff and no rage debuffs active on me. Other than that, glancing is guaranteed. But at the same time, whatever kind of damage intervals I will have should be working fine enough. I probably shouldn't be quite as aggressive in this fight as I was, because obviously I will end up losing some health. But that was kind of the plan, and this is the last fight that I'm going to be taking with KINGPIN. So again, here I do want to get to my level 2. I dropped that. Obviously at 3 debuffs I started glancing like crazy again, but I convert his armor breaks into more debuffs on me, get to my second overpower buff. Now I do decide to wait it out, and I am winning the HP battle just about, but it's because I have been overly aggressive. Now with this level 2 I'm definitely winning that HP battle very easily. And especially now that I do not have any debuffs active, I could have probably went in for the finish. I decided to be safe and just bait out that level 1 instead of dealing with level 2 from Terax. And here we can see that KINGPIN still tears through all that glancing. There was a 22k medium as well. That is 19k medium to finish. Now, unfortunately, we did end up losing this war, and we have been having an awful, awful, awful season. One of the worst ones that I can remember. But let's take a look at the more recent war. So this is going to be 1-9 against Russia, the Russian alliance. I think we played against them already this season, or if not, then definitely previous season. And I get to bring in KINGPIN again, which I'm like super happy. I didn't have quite many fights this war. The first fight here is going to be, I think I still had 5, just about that. So the first fight in this war is going to be up against Domino. And I do have Nimrod this time around. So with Nimrod, we all know exactly what's going to happen. There is just no ifs or whats or whatabouts. So we just need to get to level 2. And happy days. So parry a bunch. While she's in incinerate phase, I can afford myself to drop some heavy attacks if I really want to as well, because getting a single incinerate isn't that big of a deal. Now that she's in poison phase, I can definitely go and be a bit more aggressive. There's nothing too bad is going to happen. And I just need to get to my level 2 and we will be fantastic. Now, meanwhile, I want to build up my armor buffs, because the more armor ups I have, the stronger the level 2 is. So I do have 10 armor ups. Here, I just decide to go for it with 10 armor ups, drop my level 2, and she was already half dead. That's very, very much so overkill in this fight. Now, next fight is going to be a bit spicy this time around, because again, I'm going to be using KINGPIN for a global defender, which means a lot of my attacks are going to be glancing. So it is not going to be going as fast as it otherwise would. And obviously we have Feat of Indestructible, Insult Injury, so my defensive ability accuracy is going to be destroyed pretty much by KINGPIN raid charges. And the Power Focus one is kind of annoying here. I think Nick is a good placement for this node because of that. Because it's hard to push Nick to level 2s on these nodes. But it's okay, we're going to try our best. So here, at least, well, for a moment I was happy that I don't have any more debuffs on me, but all of a sudden I do. So it's fine, I dropped my level 2, I am unstoppable now. And now with a few more hits, again, just couldn't quite line it up, and we can see that Nick Fury is again indestructible. The sweet spot that we want to find is when I have 2 overpowers active or a single overpower active and no other debuffs. That is the kind of like phase when I can do tons of damage. And at least we dealt with the first life of Nick Fury there. Again, I do need to be very, very careful not to get wrecked by his unblockable special attacks and his like unblockable phase. And the fact that he's immediately getting to his level 1s after every single combo is quite annoying. But here we have a nice level 2 there. And we're going to, again, trigger that indestructibility, which I needed to throw a special attack to get rid of. He's at last 7%, but I did end up taking quite a bit of damage in this fight. Still, a relatively safe and alright fight. Not necessarily the perfect counter, but it worked out well enough. And now we need to deal with the Magneto here. Here I was actually thinking that, well, I'm going to go and use Nimrod for this fight, but I was actually having a debate. Should I use Nimrod or KINGPIN? I was having the same debate for the previous fight though. But I still chose to go with Nimrod here. And yeah, Magneto does have like 80% shock resistance or 90% shock resistance, but it does not work against passive shock, so we'll be fine. As long as we do not fork this up too badly. And obviously the hard thing about Magneto on this node is the fact that typically the easiest way to find openings in this fight with one-eyed open is to bait out heavy attacks. But Magneto obviously goes unstoppable if you do so. And you do need to be able to either intercept or find some other creative way to get an opening here. A single level 2 didn't actually completely finish this fight, but we're kind of close enough, which is fine. He's at 24% health. Not too bad. And in this matchup, I suppose I should have went for level 1 and level 2 then. Would have been easier. But that's okay. Now he's getting a ton of willpower healing though, which is fine. I waited out the shock phase. I need to find an opening here. You can time... If Magneto doesn't have a bar of power, you can actually get an opening after his heavy attack. It's not like guaranteed, but there is kind of like a relatively safe time to punish that heavy attack when that unstoppable kind of like just about expires. But that's fine. Here I just decided to go for it. Timed one of my hits just as stun was expiring. Dropped my level 2 and that's a dead Magneto right there. And then I'm going up against Toad, and Toad against Nimrod isn't going to be a big problem. This fight again, yeah, Nimrod is just gonna eat that Toad alive. There's not too much about it. I do need to technically wait out that Incinerate phase, But even with that, I just decided to start building up some power, which is fine. And now that he's in bleed phase, I'm just gonna go run at him, convert all of his prowesses and regens into shocks, and by the time I activate my level 2, he's already at like 60%, and that level 2 is well overkill. That poor Toad. And then I have a repeat of the previous warfight, where I'm going up against another T-Rex. And this time around I'm going to be true, because last time I lost like half of my health. So the goal here is to lose a wee bit less, be a little bit less aggressive at times, and just kind of make sure to capitalize on those times when I do not have any other debuffs on me. And I build my overpower basically up, and that's the time to do damage there. So at the start here I'm still quite aggressive, but it's fine. Now, until that overpower buff expires there, I had basically perfect chance to attack, and now again I have decent time to attack, and until the glancing starts, that is. Now we need to get again up to 2 overpower, so I need him to throw a few of his armor ups at me. Unfortunately, the timing didn't quite work out that perfect for me. I'm still at 67%, he's at 40, so I'm easily winning this health battle. I'm dropping level 2, which pretty much all gets glanced. Not a big problem. And now we just, need to go in and smack that T-Rex with 2 overpowers. And again, as soon as I didn't have any debuffs on me for that moment, the T-Rex just got trashed and fast. So here, nice level 2 to finish, and this time I finished with, well, 55%, so slightly better, I think, but yeah. KINGPIN still absolutely ravages through that fight. And we did end up winning this war, which was quite surprising, because we were losing it from the offstart, because we explored more, but we died more. And then they explored very, very well, and I believe they had like 11 fights left, and we were behind a death or so. But in the end, we did end up pulling a W here. At the moment, as things stand, we are like Platinum 1 in second place, so it is quite unlikely that we will even make Masters top 10, but you know, hopefully we at least make that Masters cutoff. It would be really embarrassing if we didn't finish the season in Masters. But either way, let me know how is your war season going, guys, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the next month.